Hi, I'm Todd Nauck. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've got a new three-parter here for y'all. I've had this recorded for some time and it's been sitting on my phone for well over a year, maybe longer. But my work and travel schedule for comic book conventions has been so heavy that I haven't been able to have time to record commentaries. Well, I finally found some time. So we got Jubilee Part 1 pencil stage here. So let's crack right into it. So we're going to get right into the pencils here, and what I like to do first whenever I'm doing an illustration is do a quick little thumbnail sketch. If I haven't quite got the pose figured out in my mind, kind of have a vague idea of it, I like to just do a quick little teeny tiny sketch just to see how that pose might work before I commit to doing the larger sized pose and illustration. It's easier just to do a quick little tiny sketch and just to see where the arms, legs, how the whole pose will go, and then I can use that as a guide for when I start to do the larger illustration as I'm doing here. So one of the things I like to keep in mind is the movement of the character, the flow of the character. So getting that action line that goes from the head down through the spine there really helps keep the character moving in a fluid sort of manner. So we have Jubilee kind of doing a jumping pose here. She's jumping, she's going to be throwing off some of her fireworks. If you're not familiar with the character Jubilee from the X-Men, she showed up in kind of the late 80s, early 90s, and she was essentially a mall rat that snuck over to the X-Men's Australian headquarters through Gateway's teleportation portal after the gals of the X-Men went to California for a shopping spree after one of their rough adventures kind of to unwind, and Jubilee, kind of a homeless mall rat, decided to sneak through their teleportation portal and ended up in the Australian outback, and then when she was discovered by the X-Men, she became part of the team and kind of became Wolverine's sidekick for a while. So she's a very boisterous character, so I wanted to kind of put her in a fun, exciting sort of pose here. So having her jump and throwing off her firework powers, and that's her powers, that she creates these firework plasma bursts. So I wanted to do a pose that reflected that sort of energy and excitement of the character. So once I get the basic structure down of the character, kind of breaking down where the head, the arms, the body, the legs, how everything's going to fit together, I then start to put the details on top of that. Then I start to work in the details of the face. I then put her big overcoat on and the boots and the gloves and things like that. So I want to focus on that underdrawing first. You want to have that know where the body parts are before you start to draw the clothes on top of them, so that the clothes fit correctly on your character and that they look as believable as possible. Even in a comic book cartoony sort of style, you still want to have good structure to your characters so that they are, in a sense, believable, despite how exaggerated or over the top they are. You still want a level of believability, and that they have the proper shape and form, and that everything fits together correctly. So from here I can start to add more of her accessories, like her big blue blocker shades, her earrings, and even start adding the hair on top. So it's all just a step-by-step process, and here in the sketchy pencil stage, you can really let yourself kind of play around with the shapes and where you want things to go. This is definitely not the final art stage. We really just want to make sure things are heading in the direction that we want, so when we get to the inking stage, we know right where everything's going to go. And one nice thing about working in the pencil stage is that if you make mistakes, you can erase. You can easily erase and try again. And I'll be doing that here a bit on this illustration here. Now, I had the pose vaguely in mind. I worked out a little thumbnail sketch, as we see in the upper left-hand corner. But as I'm starting to work on the pencils here, I'm coming up with different ideas, and I'm seeing that things might fit together in a different way. So where in my sketch I had her, let's see, that'd be her right arm way out to the side, I decided maybe I should bring it back forward a little bit, where her hand is throwing fireworks a little more forward. So I'm reworking the angle of the arm, of the hand. I'm rethinking this, and I'm able to make these edits as I go, depending on how I see the direction of the illustration going. So I allow myself that freedom to erase. It's okay to erase and try again. Every pro comic artist does it. We erase, we try again, we erase, we try again, because we're trying to find that right shape. And the pencil stage is a work in process sort of time. So don't feel bad if you have to erase and try again. Everyone does it. No one draws it perfectly the first time, every time. That's not possible. So feel free to erase. That's why we don't want to pencil too hard when we're starting off. Learn to develop a lighter touch, so when you go to erase, you're not smudging up and tearing your paper so much and making a bigger mess. So the lighter that you can pencil, the easier it is to course correct as you draw. All right, so now just a few little touches here and there. Tighten up some of the line areas, making sure I've got the shapes the way I want. And I want to make sure I add in her firework power energy signature that comes from her hands, that she shoots off from her hands here. So just throwing in some quick loose shapes here that I'll tighten up in the inking stage. All right, so we're just about done with the pencil stage here. I want to say thanks for everyone tuning in. As you can see here, the pencils are a bit loose. They're not super duper tight, but it gives me all the information I need for the inking stage, which will be coming up in part 2 of this 3-part series. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment if you like what you see, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, so you don't miss out on parts 2 and 3 of this Jubilee from the X-Men watercolor illustration. I want to say thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hope you had a good time, and I hope you maybe learned a little something there. There'll be more to come with more information in the inking stage and the watercolor stage. So let's take a quick look at the pencils here as I sign off, and I'll see y'all next time. Everybody have a great day.